Today's video is sponsored by Virtual Shield, the best and most trusted VPN service in the world. If you're looking for online security for your office, home, or family computers, Virtual Shield has got you covered. Remember, you have the right to remain private. For as low as $6 a month, you too can browse the web safely and anonymously. Check out Virtual Shield today and use the code NOBS for an additional discount. Link in the description below. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Hot Take, where we review the latest movies and tell you our hot take on them. Today's film, Game Night, starring Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. I've been waiting for this movie to come out for a pretty long time, but I have to say, I didn't know a whole lot going into it, which was good. I saw some of the trailer and it looked pretty exciting. I had a feeling it was going to be a big comedy with some kind of crime action part into it, and I was totally right. Without getting too far into the story, essentially it's a group of friends who meet and have a game night. Of course, who hasn't done a game night? They're lots of fun. You play some games, you get out some Monopoly, do a little Jenga, have a few drinks, have a few laughs. No big whoop, but in this movie, things go a little wrong when one of the guests at the party decides to spice things up with a very special game. Someone gets kidnapped. Now, I'm not going to say what happens much further than that, but let's just say this movie goes dark real quick. It stays funny though. It's a dark comedy. You think you're going into this regular comedy movie, but it turns out to have a lot of good action in it too. There's a good fight scene, there's some good car chases, some real exciting stuff. There's some guns in there, gunplay. Rachel McAdams has a really funny scene with the gun where she has a real gun, but she doesn't think it's real and she's dancing around. Really funny. And that brings me back to the really great cast in this movie. Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams star in it, and they do a great job leading the picture, but it's kind of an ensemble piece as well. There's a lot of good other people in their game night crew. There's a black couple who are constantly fighting, who are also hilarious. There's a young guy who always dates these blonde bimbos that ends up getting him to lose all the games because he dates them for looks, not for their smarts. Am I right? You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. And of course, let's not forget to mention Jason Bateman's brother in the movie, the guy from Early Edition and Friday Night Lights. And his brother is named Brooks, which I thought was awesome, of course. My name in the movie, and they say it like 100 times in there? Yes, sign me up. There was also a really funny cop neighbor in the movie. He's constantly trying to get in on their game night, but the friends, they don't really like him. He's kind of a weirdo, so they try to not tell him about it, but he has some of the most funny lines in the movie. He's also very creepy. He brings in some of that dark humor. Really well done by that actor. I like to call him a discount Matt Damon. Discount Matt Damon with Down syndrome, but all joking aside, that guy did a great job. Another thing I liked was all the trivia references in the movie. It's called Game Night, and it seems like they throw this Trivial Pursuit stuff in there to try to make you laugh, and it really works. They reference a lot of good movies, TV shows, things like Pulp Fiction are referenced, Iron Man gets a drop in there. They even mentioned Jarvis from Iron Man, which gets a little nerdy, and the cast even references that in the movie. There's a lot of self-referential humor in here. Very meta, very cognizant of the audience. They know that people that are watching this are smart. They're going to get a lot of these references, and they play to that really well in Game Night. Some other good references in the movie were political ones. Donald Trump gets a name drop in there and a joke, which I thought was funny. A joke about white people being the best is a joke put in there that I thought was kind of a hint at the alt-right. But then the alt-right even gets a direct mention in one scene. In one scene, one of the characters is looking at an alt-right website for a reason I won't get into, but it's actually pretty funny and well done. I know some of the conservatives in the audience might be thinking, oh, this is going to be anti-Trump, anti-stuff like that, but no, it's not that bad. They drop references and they joke on everything, so it's really a lot of fun. The story is really interesting too, which is something that's not normally the best in these comedy movies, but there's a lot of twists and turns in the story, some really good surprises. Like, even for me, when I can usually see the twists and turns coming in movies nowadays, I've seen so many, I'm such a film buff, but I had a lot of surprises in here, and there's like a lot of twists, and they play with your expectations really well. It's also shot really well. The camera work is really well done, especially in the action sequences. There's some action. Like I said, there's a good fight scene in the house that goes all over the place. Kind of reminds me of a Jackie Chan fight because they're throwing things laying around the kitchen. There's a bottle, there's a knife. They're grabbing all these practical elements in their fight, banging each other with pots. Really good fight scene. And later on, there's a good car chase scene. And there's also a really good long take shot towards the end. And about the middle to the end of the movie, the characters are running around this house. passing around this Fabergé egg, which is a part of the story, part of the plot. But basically, they're passing it around, and there's this really long take of it. They run around the house, they go up and down, the camera follows them. It's all in this one long take, which is a really good job and really surprised me for this action movie. All right, with all that said, let's go ahead and get to the hot take meter and rate this thing. 1 out of 5 flames, 1 flame being not so hot and 5 flames being too hot to handle. I'd say I'd easily rate this movie a 4 out of 5 flames. Really well done, a great comedy, good laughs, good action in there too. I like to compare it to some other Jason Bateman comedies that have action and crime elements in them, like Horrible Bosses 1 and 2. I think it's a good spiritual successor to that. It also reminds me of the movie Date Night, which came out a few years before that with Steve Carell. Not just because of the names Date Night and Game Night, although that is a similarity. There's also similar in the way that they're comedies that turn into these crime-driven thrillers with action in them. That starts off with some normal people and then some criminals get involved and they're trying to deal with it. That's the kind of situation we're dealing with here, and I think both movies are really well done. Game Night is certainly worth seeing. Take your girlfriend, take your friends. Thank you, Jason Bateman. Rachel McAdams does a great job. Really tight ass this movie, wearing heels, looking good. Loved it all around. And that wraps things up. Thanks for watching another episode of Hot Take. More movie reviews coming soon and other videos on the channel as well. Thanks for tuning in.